Most welcome to what probably will be the second last video, at least for the moment, in our series about Black sacrificing the exchange on Charlie 3 in the Sicilian defense. And if you have the need to read the moves and the timestamps that shows where in the video we discuss a certain position, please open the description to this video and you will find it all there. And if you appreciate what I'm doing, please, if you haven't already done that, hit the subscribe button and like the video and share it so that more people can get access to accessible chess material, not only for visually impaired, but for all. Hopefully, there are a lot of people who can enjoy my my teachings about different themes. That is what we are setting out for at the moment. We so far mostly have dealt with the Najdorf defense, Najdorf variation of the Sicilian. Today we will see something else. We delve into a game from 2015. White is the very talented, at that time, pretty young Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky, 26-33 in rating. Black is the famous, and nowadays even famous for his channel on, I think it has moved from YouTube to Keek. But anyway, it's Hikaru Nakamura, currently rated number 3 in the world. We are, as I'm speaking, it is the 13th of April 2024. At that time, in 2015 and 2016, I think he was rated number 2 in the world. So when this game is taking place in 2015, his rating was 2798. So we are absolutely having to do with 2 heavyweights in this game. The game was played in the US Championship in St. Louis 2015. And Hikaru had already won the US Championship but wanted to repeat his success. So we will see that he adapts a strategy playing for the win in a bit risky way, but that is based on strategy rather than on tactics. But you will see when we get there. So without further ado, we start with the game. White, who is Naroditsky, plays pawn to echo 4. Pawn to echo 4. So, as we are dealing with the Sicilian, we are not surprised that Nakamura plays pawn to Charlie 5. Pawn to Charlie 5. White plays knight to Foxtrot 3. Knight to Foxtrot 3. And black plays pawn to Delta 6. Pawn to Delta 6. White goes for the open variation in the Sicilian defense by playing pawn to Delta 4. Pawn to Delta 4. A very common and also strong alternative for White is to play the so-called Moscow variation with bishop to Bravo 5 check, but that is not the topic for this video. Black captures, Charlie takes Delta 4. Charlie takes Delta 4. White goes on, knight takes Delta 4. Knight takes Delta 4. Black plays knight to Foxtrot 6. Knight to Foxtrot 6. And White protects the pawn on echo 4 by knight to Charlie 3. Knight to Charlie 3. And here we are at crossroads. We have seen the Najdorf, where black plays pawn to Alpha 6. Black can also play Echo 6 for the Scheveningen, Knight Charlie 6 for the classical Sicilian. Even Bishop Delta 7 is played from time to time, but Nakamura goes for the famous dragon variation by pawn to Golf 6. Pawn to Golf 6. The dragon variation has its name from that the pawn formation from Delta 6 to Hotel 7 with the knight on Foxtrot 6 resembles the star constellation, the dragon. And as white often castles queenside against the dragon, and black puts his bishop on Golf 7, that is often called that bishop is often called the dragon bishop, sneezing fire over the long diagonal down towards the white's king position. That is probably the king is on Charlie 1 or Bravo. White goes for bishop to Echo 3. Bishop to Echo 3. That is the most principled way of playing in combination with what we will see soon, Foxtrot 3. Black plays bishop to Golf 7, bishop to Golf 7. And white plays pawn to Foxtrot 3. Thereby we got the Yugoslav attack against the dragon defense. And that is, so to say, a sibling to the English attack against the Najdorf. We have already seen that when white played bishop Echo 3 followed by pawn to Foxtrot 3. In, I think it was the Movsisha and Kasparov game. The plans are similar. White often goes for queen to Delta 2, castles queenside, pushing the hotel and golf pawns on the king side, trying to launch an attack against the black king by opening, first of all, primarily the hotel file by advancing Hotel 4, Hotel 5, and then opening the file for the rook. Black goes for knight to Charlie 6. Knight to Charlie 6. And here the most common is for white to play queen to Delta 2, but Naroditsky goes for another line that often transposes to the queen to Delta 2 lines, but he starts by playing bishop Charlie 4. Bishop Charlie 4. Black castles kingside. Castles kingside. And as the bishop on Charlie 4 is a bit unstable, it stands on a half open file, and black probably will put the rook on Charlie 8. White prophylactically plays bishop to Bravo 3. Bishop to Bravo 3. When I started to play the dragon in the early 1980s, it was considered to be a very sharp line, very sharp defense for black. Then both sides went for a slam, slam, bang, crash attack, and see who was first. Bobby Fischer, who fancied the white's chances, often said, yeah, against the dragon, you just play sack, checkmate. But it turned out not to be that easy, actually. Nowadays, black has found many resourceful lines in which he goes for exchanging some pieces, like in this position, for example, I would say that knight takes Delta 4, and then bishop takes Delta 4, and bishop to Echo 6, to reducing the number of minor pieces, thus reducing white's attacking potential. That is the way to go nowadays. So the dragon has become a more solid variation. I have even played similar lines myself from time to time against weaker opponents, just swapping pieces, going for complex strategical, often endgame pretty soon, and play for win in a long game without taking too many risks. So this dragon has that earlier was sneezing fire from the very beginning could appear as now a little kitten, quite peaceful, but if you don't watch out, this little kitten can soon sneak out and snatch your king, even if it is in a long endgame. Alright, bishop to bravo 3 was played. Black develops bishop delta 7. Bishop to delta 7. White pushes pawn to hotel 4. Pawn to hotel 4. I did put a timestamp here, I think. So, earlier, if you would say we had this position in early 1980s, Black didn't bother to block the H pawn. At least it was common that many dragon aficionados allowed White to push hotel 5, thinking that they will repel the attack and then maybe win an endgame or counterattack on the queen side sooner or later. Nowadays, Black normally blocks on the H file, and that is what happens in the game. Black played pawn to hotel 5. Pawn to hotel 5. White goes for queen to delta 2, finally. Queen to delta 2, preparing to castle queenside. Black goes for queen to alpha 5. Queen to alpha 5. A more common way to play would have been knight to echo 5 followed by rook to Charlie 8, which would lead to long, complex lines, which are actually leading to more or less equality, but you have to know what you are doing for quite a long time for both sides. And if you, as Nakamura does in the game, wants to play for the win, it is understandable that he avoids those long forced lines, because that gives White possibilities to swap pieces and reach a very drawish position, which of course theoretically is good for Black. He's after all having the black pieces, so draw should be okay theoretically. But if you play for the win, the theoretical draw is nothing to write home about. So Nakamura goes for queen to alpha 5. White castles queenside. Castling queenside. And Black plays rook foxtrot to Charlie 8. Rook foxtrot to Charlie 8. And the reason why Black moves the foxtrot rook is that sometimes it can be useful to have the possibility to tap the king, the black king, to foxtrot 8 in some variations. See, yeah, another timestamp. Now White plays king to bravo 1, king to bravo 1. That is a very common move in these lines, first of all, if White wants to, in the future, jump with the knight to delta 5, he doesn't necessarily want Black to capture on delta 2 with check. It can be good to go to delta 5 and having the possibility to have an in-between move himself instead. So, yeah, moving away the king is good for such purpose, but also for a more general thing, maybe that is the most important actually, to give more protection of alpha 2, and also the king is a little bit safer. On bravo 1 he feels like he has castles kingside, but on the other side of the board, so that is a safer king's position. And king to bravo 1 was a move that was employed frequently by Anatoly Karpov, for example, and a lot of super grandmasters have followed suit. Black goes knight to echo 5. Knight to echo 5. From there, Black has the possibility to jump to Charlie 4 with the knight. That is a common idea. So white has to act energetically, and so he does. He plays bishop to golf 5. Bishop to golf 5. And here we can see a threat that is connected to the ideas I mentioned in relation to white playing king to bravo 1 earlier. If white was allowed to play one more move immediately, that could have been bishop takes foxtrot 6. Bishop takes foxtrot 6. Let's imagine that. Black captures, recaptures, bishop takes bishop, and then it follows knight to delta 5, threatening the queen on alpha 5 and the bishop on foxtrot 6. And here comes the point that I wanted to make earlier. If white plays queen takes delta 2, that is no longer with check. So white in his turn can put in the in-between move. Knight takes foxtrot 6 check. And if black captures with echo takes foxtrot 6, white plays rook takes delta 2. And all this results in an endgame where black has a very weak pawn on delta 6. And also white, black's pawn structure on the king side has worsened a little bit, but primarily what is the problem for him is the weak delta 6 pawn. So now you can pause the video and think of what you would do as black if you were Hikaru Nakamura playing to get another US championship title. Of course, you know what this series is about. Black plays rook takes Charlie 3. Rook takes Charlie 3. And here, white doesn't play bravo takes Charlie 3 because white would then follow up with rook to Charlie 8. And with the queens on the board, the queen still on the board, the black attack would gain in strength. So that would be very dangerous for white. Instead, white played queen takes Charlie 3, queen takes Charlie 3, and black exchanged queens. Queen takes Charlie 3, queen takes Charlie 3, and white plays bravo takes Charlie 3, bravo takes Charlie 3. Yeah, here we come to another position, a very different position, but black has sacrificed the exchange on Charlie 3. The number of pawns is equal, 7-7. White is simply a clear exchange up. Black doesn't seem to have a kind of upcoming kingside attack immediately here or anything. It is rather a pretty peaceful position. That more is the battle is more of strategical than tactical kind. But yeah, the engines consider white has an edge. A stockfish would say that white is almost a pawn up. But I think that, first of all, in order to prove that, white has to play very, very precise. And here, the most important thing is to remember that if you are the exchange up, you have to open files for your rooks. So, opening the echo file, it is often a very good thing to do for white. Pushing, for example, rook Hector, echo 1, foxtrot 4, followed by echo 5. Yeah, such ideas could be very important for white. So if you're having the white pieces in such a position, you must aim for opening lines. Black, on its turn, doesn't really want to open too many files, but exploits the weakness on Charlie 3 and the fact that because white has an a doubled pawn on the Charlie file, there is no Bravo pawn. So that means that black often can use the Charlie 4 square as a stronghold. Maybe for a knight, or after exchanges on Charlie 4, maybe for a bishop or a rook even. We will see those themes come into play in this game. So black plays for the win by slowly maneuvering the pieces into attacking positions on the queen side. And although it is not objectively equal play, it is pretty easy to play for black. But if white doesn't play very precisely, he might end up in trouble, although he objectively has a slightly preferable position. All right. Black plays, I think, what is a mistake, alpha 5. Alpha 5. Why I consider this a mistake, it's not only me, but other commentators as well, is that white now has the chance to play alpha 4, thus gaining the control over Bravo 5. And we will see that the Bravo 5 square is quite important in those positions, because the black bishop can be activated on Bravo 5, because right now it stands okay on Delta 7, but doesn't do a whole lot. At the same time, it is understandable that Naroditsky didn't want to put the pawn on Alpha 4, because there it would always be under fire from the black bishop on Delta 7. So white has to deal with the idea that black can push Alpha 4, so he plays Alpha 3 himself instead. Alpha 3. So, and one could of course consider for black here to push Alpha 4 himself, but the Alpha 4 square is often useful for a black knight. It is difficult to imagine any black knight coming to Alpha 4 soon, but we will see that it isn't that far-fetched. We can imagine that black plays knight to Charlie 4, and there will be exchanges on Charlie 4. Then black can maneuver the knight from Foxtrot 6 to Delta 7, of course, if the bishop from Delta 7 has moved, via Bravo 6 or Charlie 5 to Alpha 4. This is just one route that black can use. Okay, black thus plays Rook Charlie 8, Rook to Charlie 8, keeping the possibility of pushing Alpha 4, but waiting to see if that really would be the thing to do. White protects the pawn on Charlie 3 by King Bravo 2. King to Bravo 2. And black plays King to Foxtrot 8. King to Foxtrot 8. We see that both sides improved their position. Yeah, okay. White protected Charlie 3 with the king. Black protects the pawn on Echo 7 with his king, but as he foresees that white also want to advance the Echo and Foxtrot pawns, it is good maybe even going for Echo 8 with the king so that the king would be out of way if, for example, the foxtrot 5 was open up. White goes for knight to echo 2, and that is a mistake. It's simply pointless. White doesn't gain anything. Okay, he protects the pawn on Charlie 3, an extra time. But most seriously, he loses control over Bravo 5. And we will see how black exploits that. A better move for white would have been rook hotel to echo 1, planning, for example, to play foxtrot 4, maybe followed by knight foxtrot 3 and echo 5, trying to open up files on the king's side. Black plays bishop to Bravo 5, bishop to Bravo 5, threatening the knight that jumps back, knight to Delta 4, knight to Delta 4. And here Nakamura showed his ambitious mind by not dropping the bishop back to Delta 7, which could have been an invitation for repeating the positions to a draw, but playing bishop alpha 6. Bishop alpha 6. So now, if white had played rook hotel to echo 1 instead of knight echo 2, then Stockfish considered white being about 0.8 pawns up. Quite a clear advantage, although I think that Stockfish exaggerates white's advantage somewhat. Now the position is equal, so it didn't take much for white to lose his advantage. Just that black has improved the position of the light squared bishop is enough for having full compensation for the exchange. White plays rook hotel to echo 1. Better late than never. Knight foxtrot to Delta 7. Knight foxtrot to Delta 7. And here we also see why it was a good idea to play king foxtrot 8. Now the echo 7 pawn is protected. And the knight on the Delta 7, it might end going to Bravo 6, for example, and then white has 2 knights that can jump into Charlie 4. White goes for foxtrot 4. Foxtrot 4. And yeah, I think this is a good move. In general, white has played very well, besides the loss of time with knight echo 2 back to Delta 4, which also allowed black to improve the position of his light square bishop. Pawn to foxtrot 4 comes with the ideas of foxtrot 5 and or echo 5. Sometimes these pushes can be combined. Black plays knight to Charlie 4 check. Knight Charlie 4 check. And here, according to the engines, white plays a slightly inferior move. He plays bishop takes Charlie 4. Bishop takes Charlie 4. That would be a mistake. King to Charlie 1 is probably better. But for sure, it is also understandable that you didn't want to leave your pawn on alpha 3 en prise. But the idea must be that it takes too much time for black to take on alpha 3. So then white would push forward with echo 5 and opening files in the center, thereby giving life, reviving his rooks. And then the material, that means the exchange for the pawn in that case, would start to tell. But the bishop takes Charlie 4 was played by white, and so also by black. Bishop takes Charlie 4. So now black has obtained another structural advantage, that is the two bishops, because the position tends to open up bit by bit here, and then the two bishops are very valuable. White pushed on, foxtrot 5, foxtrot 5. I think one also could have gone here for rook echo 3, rook delta echo 1, knight foxtrot 3, such things. I think that would be possible. Yeah, but foxtrot 5 is also an okay move, planning to capture on golf 6, but foxtrot 5 also comes with a very interesting idea to sacrifice a pawn by pushing foxtrot 6 if black's knight leaves delta 7, so it doesn't protect foxtrot 6. If the knight moves from delta 7 and white pushes foxtrot 6, black will end up with a double pawn on foxtrot 7 and foxtrot 6, and an isolated pawn on delta 6. But those pawn weaknesses can easily be exploited by the white rooks. So this could be a good way to play. Black played knight to Charlie 5. Knight to Charlie 5. Threatening to jump into alpha 4. And white played rook echo 3. Rook echo 3, protecting the Charlie 3 pawn. And I think it's also a way to maybe doubling rooks on the echo file, for example. Black tapped the king to echo 8, getting out of the area where files will be opened. And white pushed, withdraw the bishop to foxtrot 4. And I'm not so happy about that move. I think foxtrot 6 would have been a good alternative here. And there we have this position that white gives back a pawn, but obtains play. The bishop on golf 7 will either be exchanged or be blocked by their own pawns. And more important, the delta 6 pawn would be isolated so that the white rooks could find a good target. But bishop to foxtrot 4 was played. So we put another timestamp. Now comes knight to alpha 4 check. Knight to alpha 4 check. And it is quite difficult to believe that the game will be over just in a few moves from now. I think that no one who just passed by and had a glance at the position would think that, okay, Nakamura will win in 5-6 moves from now. White plays king to Charlie 1. King to Charlie 1. And black plays bishop to alpha 6. Bishop to alpha 6. And here you see that now black can capture a pawn on Charlie 3. That would not be the end of the world, but at least black then has one pawn for the exchange. White plays commits a mistake. Rook delta 2 would have been the better move here, I would say. but he played pawn to echo 5. And I think this mistake, this blunder, probably can be explained mostly psychologically. White has had an advantageous position. He had played the correct moves in the opening. Black sacrificed the exchange, which shouldn't give him enough compensation, but nevertheless Black has increased the pressure. Now was about to take one pawn and maybe enjoy a slight advantage. White, if you play against a strong opponent, even if you yourself are Grandmaster on 2630, if you have an opponent on almost 2800, you might feel that you have to do something, and do something very soon. Otherwise, you will be outplayed. And then you push the pawn in the center, trying to open files, but it will result in lost position. And here is what it is. It is now White, from being slightly worse, is absolutely lost. Black played delta takes echo 5. Delta takes echo 5. And White played rook takes echo 5. Rook takes echo 5. And you might wonder why he sacrifices the exchange. Had he played bishop takes echo 5, then Black had been able to play bishop hotel 6, winning at least the exchange that way. So either this was overlooked by White, even a super grandmaster can commit such a mistake, or he simply didn't evaluate the position that well, thinking maybe that Black's position suddenly was more advantageous for Black than it really was. I have myself had that experience when I play. Sometimes when you meet a special opponent, you tend to lose. Whatever you do, it seems always to go wrong for you. Then, luckily enough, you might also have opponents whom you always beat. But when you play those opponents that you used to lose against, then you can start to see the position that you normally would have seen viewed as equal, or maybe quite good for yourself. You only see problems in your own position, and then you do something too drastic, and I think that could have been the case here. Okay, rook takes echo 5. Black plays bishop takes echo 5. White plays bishop takes bishop on echo 5. And Black now wins a pawn. Knight takes Charlie 3. Knight takes Charlie 3. So now White has 5 pawns, 3 pawn islands. Black has 2 pawn islands and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns. So 1 pawn up, and one could think of the bishops are uncolored. They are dark squared bishop on white side and a light squared bishop on black side. But although it is an end game, the character of the position on the queen side is anyway like that Black easily can drum up some initiative playing against the white king. And in such position where king's attacks can be the order of the day, then it can even be an advantage to have uncolored bishop for the side who is attacking. And the reason for that is that if you have the attack, let's say Black can start to put pressure on Charlie 2. That black can do by using the light square bishop, but white's dark square bishop cannot defend Charlie 2. So when you are dealing with uncolored bishops, then to have the initiative is even more important than it normally is in other cases. Alright, knight takes Charlie 3. White played rook to echo 1. Rook to echo 1, but now golf takes foxtrot 5. Golf takes foxtrot 5, and black has grabbed another pawn. And now we can see that if white now would play knight takes foxtrot 5, knight takes foxtrot 5, if we imagine that move to be played, white has two minor pieces on the 5th rank. The bishop on echo 5 and the knight on foxtrot 5. But you might respond that the bishop on echo 5 is well defended by the rook on echo 1. But black can play knight to echo 2 check. If white then plays king to delta 2, note that the bishop on alpha 6 protects the knight on echo 2. Black can play rook Charlie 5, threatening the bishop on echo 5, and if that bishop moves, the knight on foxtrot 5 will be captured. So it is not so easy for white to regain the pawn, the second pawn that is. So he played bishop to foxtrot 6. Bishop to foxtrot 6. Bishop foxtrot 6 might seem as a very clever move, because now you moved the bishop out of the 5th rank, so the thing with the knight on foxtrot 5 and bishop on echo 5 won't appear, but and also you attack echo 7, and the pawn is pinned because of the king on echo 8 and the rook on echo 1. But black has an in-between move again. Knight echo 4. Knight to echo 4. Blocking the echo file and attacking on foxtrot 6, attacking the bishop on foxtrot 6. Now white nevertheless captured on foxtrot 5. Knight takes foxtrot 5. And that removes the protection of the knight on echo 4, so now the knight is threatened, but black has such a nice move that always occurs when you have such advantage. There will always be something. You will find the resource if you are having the better position. Bishop delta 3. Bishop to delta 3. And that move both protects the knight on echo 4 and attacks the pawn on Charlie 2. And yeah, of course you note that the Charlie pawn is pinned because of the rook and the king on the Charlie file. So white played pawn to Charlie 3. Pawn to Charlie 3. So yeah, now one could maybe think that, okay, black has an advantage, but white is still kicking and can go on fighting for quite a while, but that is not the case. Black plays rook Charlie 5. Rook to Charlie 5. Threatening the knight on foxtrot 5. The knight moves. It takes on echo 7. Knight takes echo 7. And black doesn't even bother taking on foxtrot 6. Yeah, that would not have been such a good move because if knight takes foxtrot 6, white could have played knight delta 5, discover check, and then capture on foxtrot 6. But there is a better move that, of course, Nakamura foresaw. He plays rook to bravo 5. Rook to bravo 5. And now this thing that I mentioned in passing happened to be even more important than it might have appeared when I made the comment. We are in an ending with uncolored bishops. And by exploiting the white weak king's position and exploiting the fact that white has many weaknesses on the light squares because he doesn't have a bishop there, rook to bravo 1 is the threat that is checkmate. Rook bravo 1 checkmate, and white has no way of getting out of it. Yeah, in such case you have to give up the exchange or something like. Yeah, you're simply lost in this position. The black attack has succeeded. So white resigned. And what do we then learn from this game? Yeah, it is, now we have seen exchange sacrifice that is dramatically different, although it is also an exchange sack on Charlie 3. We didn't get back any pawn for it or something, nor was it an ongoing king's attack all the time. It was rather quite slow maneuvering, king foxtrot 8, king echo 8, maneuvering the knight pieces to better squares. White did some unprecise moves, but keep in mind that it was a player on 2630 that had the white pieces, and we saw how difficult it was to play the white position even for such a fantastic grandmaster. Although I think that white is objectively a bit better. I don't believe it is like a pawn like Stockfish thinks, but somewhere maybe half a pawn or something. It is easier to play the black position. And we saw also that when black threatened to capture a pawn so that he would have a pawn for the exchange as well, white panicked and went down in fire and flames. If you would play the white side, keep in mind that you have to play energetically to open the echo and foxtrot 5s, even if that would mean that you sack a pawn at times. I think you have to be very skilled to come up with the right way to play over the board if you haven't seen examples of this. But now you have had some indications of how to play, both if you have this position as white or as a black. I think it gives ample scope for success for the better player. I hope that you enjoyed the video and see you in the future videos. Thank you.